Welcome to The One Thing, where each episode features our signature segment, Pandora's Box. We dive into hot topics that challenge the norm and ignite real conversation.
Inspired by Greek mythology, Pandora's Box isn't just about chaos. It's about truth, transformation and hope. That's what we bring to every conversation.
Have a cause or business that deserves to be seen? Want to be remembered forevermore? Be our next special guest. Contact us today at theonething@edgeradioaustralia.com.
Oh, we're live.
See that? See the red light? That's the puppy. That's what you want.
I was deep in thought.
Yeah. Oh.
Welcome to The One Thing on Edge Radio Australia. Thank you for joining us, everybody, everywhere around the world, whether you are listening or you are watching. It's fantastic to have you here. Lovely to see you in your pink jacket over there, Leanne, with your dad's very special tie.
It is my dad's very special tie, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
It's a great opportunity to wear it.
I would so wear it.
Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. And welcome, Aaron. I know that you're so excited about having all the estrogen in the room today.
Honestly, any more estrogens. Estrogen. I can't say it. I'm that concerned. I'm living in terror.
We'll see. This is why we wore the jackets, Aaron.
And this is why I'm trying to get my ducks in a row. That's how it works, okay? My ducks right now are freestyling it. They're all over the place.
Are they male or female ducks?
I don't know how they identify.
Oh, that's a tough question. So, the subject today...
They do quack a lot, I'm just saying. Anyway.
Our topic today is rebalancing the masculine and feminine in leadership and activism. And I firstly have to give a big shout out to Martine Shepherd, who was going to be our guest on today's show, but unfortunately she's caught the lurgy that's going around. So we're really looking forward to having Martine come back another time. And Martine Shepherd is the mother, healer, meditation coach, enviro warrior, and Edge radio presenter. So you can catch Martine. She's still doing her normal shows, is she?
100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
As I look up at the Great Wall over there, it's going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's Thursday at 2 p.m.
If she's well enough.
And if she's not, call her at home and make her do a show.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely. So get well soon, Martine. So, Leanne, you and I were putting our heads together, weren't we?
Oh, yes,
because
definitely.
we were a little bit concerned because of the topic we had today. Look, the three of us can, handle a show on our own. We used to do it all the time before we had guests, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, but
this is a topic that's a little bit different.
And what was it that Aaron said?
Everyone would just love to listen to us talking.
I don't believe that's what I said.
Well, very along those lines.
It in writing.
Maybe you should read it verbatim.
Hang on, verbatim, okay.
Oh, no, please don't.
So Aaron Malloy believes that everybody out there is really interested in what he has to say about masculine and feminine energy.
Agreed, obviously. I'd be the world authority on this field, right?
But we felt like we needed some reinforcement. So we invited our very good friend and business colleague, Rachel Jacob. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
We had a little warm up on Friday night, didn't we?
Oh, we did. Whew, it was. Aaron was getting a little bit hot under the collar even then. So I'm so glad that I could come back and just.
I'm going to have to step up here and come to your rescue a little bit, Aaron. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I can really feel that it's going to go one-sided otherwise.
I am stuck here in the Yaha sisterhood, whatever it was called. Remember the thing back in the day, that movie?
Wasn't that
not the pants sisterhood
whatever
that was?
Something like that. Anyway,
so the rules. So the rules for today, because you set a few rules, which isn't like you.
What rules did I set?
when we arrived to the studio, Aaron took Leanne and I to one side and told us a few new rules.
Right. Okay. What are the rules?
And that was a little bit hard, I have to say. We're not allowed to talk over one another.
We do that a lot. Yes.
That's why we need water pistols.
We're not allowed to talk over each other, and we're not allowed to go over.
Yes,
so we've got a lot to get into a very short space of time, don't we?
And who's done all the talking so far, Lisa? I'm just saying.
All right,
I'm
so
quiet.
and I think we might need to have a talking stick, but we do
Okay.
have a special guest in here. So I'm going to throw it over to Rachel. Now, Rachel has worked in male-dominated industries in her career spanning over 30 years. So let's just launch straight in, Rachel. What's your thoughts on masculine and feminine energy in leadership and activism and in the workplace? Let's start there.
Wow, straight in the hot seat, eh?
That's the one.
Yeah, look, I've had a lot of experience with and male-dominated industries, and I've really excelled in whatever I've done, and I've always felt that's not been a problem. Do you know what I mean? To work hard. That the guys have been happy to have me there. I've been happy to be there. One's not so positive is I have seen over decades how women they are significantly underpaid compared to guys. In my experience, I'm not saying it's everyone's experience, but in my experience, and men's their masculinity, I think, is very powerful in the workplace, where they just sit down and they go, I'll have this much money, thanks, and that's what I'm worth and that's what I'll have. Whereas as a woman, we tend to like, well, you know, I'll just work my ass off and you'll see that I'm really competent and, you know, you'll pay me accordingly.
Sure.
And then you're waiting and you're waiting.
So we're more submissive. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think it is definitely this is not pointing fingers at men. This is women's traits, and looking at where that behaviour may have come from. I always think if you feel a victim of something, what have you done yourself, right?
Okay.
And so as women entering the workforce, there was a time when it was men's workforce and it wasn't women's roles. So we got our little boot or our stiletto and we opened that door and we took we were competitive without even meaning to be. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Often it was like to feed your children, you know, divorces started occurring and that sort of thing. So inadvertently, we have created that competition and a wee bit of resentment. I'm thinking that's my thoughts on it. Someone else give me their take on that.
Sure.
Well, I thought we were talking about something totally different.
Okay.
When this subject came up, and I don't know what Martine had in stall, but my theory or my thought process around all this was that in each and every one of us there is a masculine energy and a feminine energy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that to be successful in leadership, to be successful in activism is drawing on particular energies for that to occur. That was my thought process, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe wrong.
Completely aligns though.
Oh, does it?
because-
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. In any workplace, it's like strengths, weaknesses, masculine, feminine, and the more even, you know, you're more effective.
Do you think that it's harder for men to bring out their feminine side than it is for a woman in today's age to bring out their masculine? Because I feel like there's a lot of women that actually are very capable, and I know I'm one of them, to bring my masculine to the front. I think it's harder for men to bring their feminine to the front.
Yeah, and look, to tell you the truth, I have a personal consideration on that.
Good.
Because I like the good old fashioned. Actually, women have their place and what they're doing, and women have their place because it just reduces confusion and helps things flow.
Yeah.
So you know, the masculine and feminine. I want the blokes to remain masculine.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy to do feminine things so long as you get, you know, the correct acknowledgement and financial recognition. I think it's the muddied waters that has of men and women's roles that have really created a lot of
Do men
out of whack.
Do men know their place in society anymore? No, they don't. That's the reality.
Well, we didn't answer.
Okay. Well, I answered for you. There you go.
We're allowed to cut you off there.
Okay.
Bang.
Survey says.
I think it is relevant though, because I'm saying, know our places, and then you're going to reduce that confusion.
Agreed. I really agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is my kind of argument is, multifaceted, but essentially I believe in equality. Okay. So whenever I hear all of these things about, the imbalance in wages, things like that, I'm sorry, I actually deal in facts, not feelings, all right? And most of that is actual feelings. It's not real. When you look at the dynamics of why women are paid less than men, when you look at those numbers, it's for so many reasons. It has been illegal for 50 years to pay somebody less because of their gender or the color of their skin or any of the other stupid reasons why you'd pay people less. It's illegal. Now, if you're a business person, and this was true, if you could literally pay women less, well, guess what? You'd have a staff of nothing but women, wouldn't you? Because businesses are there to make profit. So why would you employ men? It's a ridiculous argument. It makes no sense. And to go back on what you were saying about, and I actually agree with you, and we talked about this the other day, as far as women don't stand up for themselves and don't say, I'm demanding this amount of money. But that's on many, hang on, this is multi-layered here. When you're in a position in a corporate environment, okay, to be frank, you're dealing with women who have got that strength in that position, and if they wanted to, they could, and they choose not to. So they see more of that imbalance. Whereas in other jobs where you don't have that imbalance, okay, when the jobs are far more equal, I guess, you don't have that there's no gap. There is none. So it's a case of wanting your cake and eating it too. And in the corporate world or the professional world or any of that sort of anywhere in that level, women have a responsibility to demand and ask for what they feel they deserve, as men do. And what as a woman and as most women don't seem to understand or just don't accept, I guess, is that quite frankly, behind the scenes, most men are actually really, really scared of asking for the money. Most men actually really feel that there's a great worry. They feel like I'm a provider for my family. I've got to put food on the table. I've got to keep that roof there. So me asking for a raise, the risk versus reward, they're worried about losing their job.
What about the women supporting their families? Excuse me?
Well, I'm speaking as a man. So that's that's your gig. You can do that one.
No, I'm interested in that take because basically you're saying there's a fair bit of bravado that goes on when they just swagger in there and, I'll have a company car and an extra 20K and what have you, and the boss said, all righto. That's just bravado?
A lot of it is.
Wow.
I think a lot of it is you have to walk in with a sense of you are worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that doesn't matter what gender you are.
Yes, and it doesn't matter what you gender. And I feel that as women being the softer, the more feminine, of course, we are.
Yes.
We don't step into those roles as easily as a man does. Even though the bravado has to be there, I think the male masculine is naturally more aggressive. They have had to be over years and years and years. They were always the hunters, right?
Yeah.
And we were the gatherers. So it's already there. It's already in them, and they have to step up. Whereas we've always been, in a sense, the back seat.
Yes.
Right? We've had to work our way to get into having employment and being employed because we were seen as the caregivers, mothers, the carers of the system.
Okay, there's a side of this that I think everybody's missing here. And maybe this is the miscommunication between the two genders here, right? Okay, remember the old story, behind every great man, there's a great woman. Okay, any genuine man who lives in his masculinity realizes that he is the sum of the quality of the human being behind him. Okay, whether it's your wife, it's your girlfriend, whether it's your mum, whoever that female role is in behind, we know that we're nothing without the women in our lives, right? Those who literally, truly believe in their masculinity.
Yeah, I think you're right. They have that confidence and that understanding.
Because we know that's our backstop.
And women know the way to drive their man to be that person.
A good woman does.
Mm, mm.
And I have not been a good woman in the past.
That's
Well,
why you're
I
here.
have been an okay one.
I will give you a classic example, right? I think that the women of yesteryear, they're like
Confessions of Rachel Jacobs.
confessions. That's it. It's a really simple one, and this might resonate with someone. But I'm a get things done.
Mhm.
And in the home, when you have different roles, and it's the man's role to chop the wood so the house is warm, right?
Yep.
And you're like, honey, can you chop the wood? Honey, can you chop the wood? We need to light a fire. Honey, can you chop the wood? You get to a point where it's like, I'll chop the effing wood because I can. Twice as fast, it'll be done, and I'll light the fire as well. And you bypass, you bypass that role. You de-emasculate, if that's even a term. But
It is now.
I can see that I have done that, and I think women do that inadvertently because we're in a world where everything needs to happen yesterday, supposedly. So all the values and the normal things, they just get swept away with a tidal wave, and we're doing it without even realising it.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to be, the big bad guy here, but here's what I observed in most of the behaviour of most of the women that I see now. I see women putting men down at a rate I've never seen before in my life. I've seen that just the destruction of masculinity by the women in their lives. I watch wives who say incredibly negative things and constantly put down their husbands. I've seen, obviously, boyfriends
Watch
as well.
out, Richard.
Yeah. But here's the problem. Because everyone's lost their way, because we don't define masculinity and femininity as well as we used to.
Or respect it.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
And, we've had this incredible, increase of the boss bitch, right? Okay, which is a big part of the world now.
A woman trying to be a man.
Yeah. And you were saying about the cutting of the wood. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you a story about that in a minute too.
we've all
Yeah, I want to hear your story too.
there you go. Look, that is whether you like it or not. And I can see both sides of that argument. Okay, he should have got off his butt and gone and cut the wood. Right, that's how I
At
see
least after the 7th time.
it. Do you know what? All jokes aside, third time. Okay,
But we shouldn't have to ask 3 times.
No,
That's the point.
but no, 4 times is nagging. Okay,
I'm going to jump in on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in on the wood one.
Okay.
So from a perspective of I'm the only married one here. Hi, Rich.
Yeah.
I do have experience in the area, but
I know, but just saying.
We all do.
Successfully.
There we go.
Successfully married. So Richard would come in and make sure that I was capable of doing that myself. Because his argument is, if I'm never there to be able to do it, I want you to be able to do it yourself. So he probably wouldn't do it and want me to do it myself, or leaves it long enough, which is the case, just saying, happened before, that I would get pissed off enough to do it. So I don't know whether that's a masculine thing to go, right, I want you to be able to do it. I want you to be capable of doing it. So I'm going to let you do it.
Has a lot to do with the sort of woman you're with. And obviously on the flip side, the sort of man you're with, right? So I've had many relationships in my life, and some women have been capable physically and some have been not so capable, I guess. And so my rules would be different on that. So if I had a wife or girlfriend at that time who was not physically very strong or big, then I'm going to cut that wood. All right. If I've got someone in my life who's physically stronger, then I'm going to have a different attitude.
I will say the wood's already cut.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about. I just have to go to the woodshed.
So this story is hypothetical.
Pile up and actually light the fire myself. Like a Neanderthal fire. Light it up.
Well, Martine's put a comment up here on the screen. I'd love for us to have a look at that.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Did you want to read that there, Leanne?
Sure. We are currently in a transition period of where more men to adult men more, where more men need to adult men more, maybe, and women need to stop mothering and nagging. It's a shift in the yin-yang energy equilibrium.
Now,
and this is what I had on here, yin and yang.
And I completely agree. Look, to make our lives work, right, we need to accept the fact that women are great at some things, men are great at some things, right? we will survive and thrive as a society if we actually work together.
Yeah.
And this whole working against each other and this hatred and this, like right now, there's so much
Resentment.
hatred. Between men and women. But it's been put together by, quite frankly, for very nefarious reasons, by an elite who, quite frankly, it's about money and power.
Yeah.
And if you separate, you divide and conquer. We all know those are the same.
Absolutely. There's
Well,
no
they're
one to
doing that.
protect the children then, is
That's
there?
right,
If
that's
the
right.
men and women are divided and conquered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with the next bit that Martine's written. I agree entirely
Well,
with
let's
that,
bring that up.
Martine.
That? Yeah.
Okay, so men need to adult.
Men need to adult.
Oh.
Full stop.
Right. Is there supposed to be a full stop?
Yeah.
We're correcting grammar. I like
Yeah.
that.
What does that mean?
Mothers
Women-
need to stop
Men need to
mothering their
adult.
partners.
Mother need
Oh.
adult.
Adults.
Mother need to stop mothering their partners.
Yeah, understanding
Yeah.
the roles. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Using
one, Martine.
using
Thank
Leanne
you.
as the example because you are the only one with a successful
Yes.
marriage here. So I should never
Excuse me,
do
my marriage was successful while it lasted.
exactly.
Excuse me, I want some credit here. Like
Oh, okay,
nearly
cool.
30 years. I mean,
Okay, well, round of applause.
yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, sure. If you added all mine together, it's not even getting close to that. But anyway, it's not even half of it. But where I'm going on this is, okay, in your relationship, I think it works because, and why your marriage is so successful, is both of you understand your roles.
Yes, we do.
I think
And
that's
we
the thing.
do, but we do go into our opposite roles as well.
Mhm.
But we do it like, so
Knowingly.
Richard will cook dinner.
Yeah.
He'll do the dishes. He'll go and do the washing, or I will step up and we'll be drilling and you seen
Yeah.
what we do. So that's a partnership. I think that comes down to partnership and not just masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
I think it's just more about, being together for 37 years, you know each other really well, then you can actually articulate that. But when new couples are coming together, I think it'd be really challenging in today's age compared to when we started dating.
For sure.
What's what, and I worry about that because my boys are, they're young adult men.
they're so brainwashed by socials as to what women and men are supposed to be and supposed to look like.
Yeah.
The expectations
Yeah,
are just
the
unreal,
expectations are very unreal.
I do hope I brought them up well enough to be able to, to distinguish a little bit about, their role and how they should be. And it's not only that, it's how they should be treating women as well,
Yes.
And
hang on.
Yeah, they should
Yeah,
be treating
here's the
them better
problem
than
right
what
now.
they.
Men are taught, okay, and this is indoctrinated into us, how to treat women, all right, and to provide for women. Tell me that women are taught the same thing. They're not.
That's a very general statement,
No,
though,
well,
Aaron.
you know,
That might
it's
be the
very-
way you were brought up.
Yeah,
I was
school,
not.
you're
No, exactly.
correct, but not so much these days.
These days,
Mm.
okay, that's what I'm not talking about the old days. The old days are very different.
Yeah.
Today's world, okay, a man is completely judged with what he brings to the party, okay, and we quite frankly we live in
That's
an area
with some
right
women,
now,
yes, and I have to say yes to that because
majority,
that was I don't know about majority, but
That's personalities as well.
yeah.
I think so just going to that, a relationship where someone's bringing in the income and doing the hard yards and providing, and then the woman sitting back on her laurels and then saying, oh, no, we're finished and I'm taking half of what you've earned. And
That's just
it does
unfair.
happen and it's not fair.
In
It's not fair
84.1% of cases.
if that happened to one of my boys and they were in that financial position to bring everything to the table and then they ended up getting half taken away from them, I would be really pissed off.
Does it happen both directions, though?
Well, I think I don't know if
Yes.
it does.
I know the stats. Would you like the stats?
I know my experience.
Yeah, and you know what? There's always outliers, okay? There's always
Yeah.
different experiences. But here's the reality. 84.1% of cases, 84.1%, okay, where the man is effectively completely in that situation. I wasn't even going to go here. But in the split of assets, like right now, there's laws in Australia which are so incredibly dangerous, where now if you, in the state of Queensland, for argument's sake, and I believe it's coming in Victoria as well, if a woman claims domestic violence, she's automatically entitled to, and please, I cannot remember the exact figure, so I apologise for not
It's
being
5 or
accurate.
10 grand.
No.
Oh.
You're entitled to something like 25% more of the estate
Oh.
if there's a claim of domestic violence.
So they're
Now-
encouraging
So
it.
this is the state
Yeah.
taking over people's personal ethics.
They're in our
This is
bedrooms, they're in our
state
wallets,
control.
they're everywhere.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah.
right.
It's
Okay.
it is the whole divide and conquer thing
Yeah.
that you mentioned.
And it is.
Yeah.
And in 2011, when Julia Gillard removed the requirement for evidence in the claims of domestic violence, for violence restraining orders and for family court, and let's cut the crap here. Well, family court is all about money and power. It's got nothing to do with the best interests of the children.
Absolutely.
So that day, how much do you think that domestic violence leapt up in one day? What was the figure in the change from when it was made law that you did not require evidence anymore? 80% in one day, right?
That's
We have to tell the
devastating.
truth. People need to be accountable for what's going on. And right now, a lot of people are lying.
Well, most of the lawyers are just big storytellers.
Yeah.
They do not care whether
They
they're
do not
telling
care.
the,
They invent
the
this.
truth.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
what's the outcome of this? This is if it's family, it's the kids, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
And what's the outcome if there is no children involved? It's the court system. This is where the money's going. It's not
course
going
it
to
is.
the people
Yeah.
that are
No,
actually
it's
earning
not.
it. So yeah,
No winners there, is there?
No.
just the courts and the
no
lawyers.
no winners.
No
Yeah.
winners. And if you truly love the people in your life, and you should, right? I mean, I absolutely love my wife, right?
Yeah.
And I obviously adored my children. My children are everything. They're at the air of my life, right? When these cockroaches, and everyone who works in the family court system, as far as I'm concerned, is a cockroach. When these cockroaches and leeches get involved, the lies that they tell and what they do to people is disgusting. So let's do something. Let's have a quick break. I will stop the vein popping out of my neck, and we'll be back in just a sec. Radio Australia.
Is pain holding you back? Bowen Therapy with Panacea Healing can change that for you. It's never too late to recharge your health, career, or purpose. You have the power within yourself to change what no longer serves you, taking your life and health to another level. panaceahealing.com.au. You can do anything.
So just back on subject.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The One Thing. We were just having a little quick discussion then, and we're like, oh, who's going to bring it back in? And, you do, and you ask this question. So, Aaron, apparently I've got to ask you a question.
Yes, I've just found that out. Yes.
About your date, Lisa, was it?
I'm out there dating. So I think I've got a different
Aaron's
perspective.
dating.
I'm dating. Well, ladies, you can have all of
Who
this.
pays?
Hang on a minute.
Who pays for the date?
I do.
Okay.
Full stop. Okay. And I went on a date, I don't know, last week, and it was cool. But right very early, it became quite clear that it was going to be a friendship date. Just wasn't there. And what I did find really nice about this particular lady is that I almost said girl.
Lady.
Well, no, because I'm trying to actually change your language.
Yeah,
a little bit.
good.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
nice.
going out with children. I'm going out with grown women, right?
Well done.
Yeah, it's just a bad habit that we get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I give her full credit on this. Very classy. She went and paid for the food, which I didn't actually even notice. I was paying for the drinks, and then she paid for the food, which I thought was just nice. But having said that, the man pays, especially on the first date. Don't care. That's how it runs.
But that's we're back to roles again,
Yep.
though, aren't we? The expectations of the roles, and I think no matter what the expectations are, if two people get together, if they can thrash out those roles, and same in the workplace and in relationships, if you're in agreement with the roles, like you and Rich, it's like it should be happy days from there. It's not a generality, is it? It's what works for that.
But
unit.
you know what? It's not even something we discuss. It's just something that happens. It just flows. It's not like, this is your role and this is my role. It just.
And do you know what? I think relationships are supposed to be that easy. I think
Excuse me.
sometimes people just keep, butting heads thinking like, and it's that
This is what you're
old-fashioned
supposed
belief
to.
that, if it has to be hard.
It
Whereas
doesn't.
I
It
don't
shouldn't
think
be.
if you're with the right person,
Yeah.
it really shouldn't be hard.
But I think people bring a lot of baggage forward with them. So when you're starting a relationship, like later on, like we are, it's like you've got to be very mindful that my idea of roles and what have you might be quite different to the other person's. And then it's a case of using our words, communicate and ask and find out, not challenge not enforce your ideals or what have you. And I think that's potentially gets skipped.
You couldn't nail it any more accurately. It is about communication and the things that you don't want to talk about, the things that are uncomfortable. Yeah, and we could have the sex talk, right? I mean, let's face it. When we talk about relationships, when they're starting, certainly for the first few months, you kind of figure out where you are on that, and that's conversation you should maybe have. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're strange. We're cut in a strange way.
I just want to bring up a couple of points here on masculine energy and feminine energy, because this is what whole discussion was about.
Okay.
Masculine energy, these are the I can't even say it, the energy types. So the yang. So the masculine is action, logic, drive, focus, boundaries, planning, and protection. And the yin, which is the feminine, is intuition, feeling, nurturing, receptivity, creativity, flow, and connection. So you can see how very different they are and how we can all flow between the two if you allow it.
Okay. I'll say this. So often I get attacked full scale attacked, and seen as being, about misogyny and all that sort of thing, being anti-women. People have this attitude. And I'll tell you why. Because I want women to be held accountable, right? Because I think men should be held accountable.
Right.
People should be held accountable. But it seems in society now that if you hold women accountable, you are instantly labelled that way. And I have, in my opinion anyway, because of the life I've lived, you see, I haven't lived a traditional male life. I really haven't. I've been a stay-at-home dad. I've been a single dad.
Okay.
I've lived that life. I was the world champion of changing nappies at one stage. I had 4 kids in nappies at the same time.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's right. I'm production line. I had it going on. But what I'm getting at is that, okay, I feel very privileged, quite frankly, that I was able to taste that side of life, because men don't appreciate how hard that is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, to be frank, women don't appreciate how easy it is sometimes. So I'm very lucky to have tasted both sides. And therefore, whether it's right or wrong, I feel that my opinion is probably more balanced than most.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I didn't
You didn't know
all of that. No.
Oh, there you go. No, there you go.
Well, you walk around like a big burly man. I didn't sort of have you pegged for nappy changing champion.
Only disposable, let me tell you. No, I had the greatest job in the world for quite a long time. I had 6 amazing, beautiful kids who were just the absolute, just the apple of my eye.
So you've got to you have experienced the yin side of what Leanne's saying, that nurturing, but as well as the protecting and the yang sides. And I think if we can all have that equilibrium.
Absolutely.
I'd love to look at what Daniel's saying.
I'm just going to bring that up if I could, because I've got lots of comments coming up. So
Daniel says the very lack of masculinity is the only toxic form of masculinity.
Nailed it.
Yeah, thank you for
it.
I had somebody say to me the other day, and a male say to me that he's really embarrassed to be a male at the moment.
Oh,
wow.
That's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah, because he doesn't feel like men are manning up.
But they're not. And they're just not. And that's the reality of it too. So
because
but I think this is society society has done this to us.
Well, okay.
It's an agenda.
Of course
it is an agenda. Let's just call it for what it is.
So
it's a minority that's exerting an agenda on our beautiful sons and daughters.
Yeah.
And I think if we just remember that it is a minority and they're really unimportant.
But isn't it strange that they bring the minorities forward?
Yes.
And it's the majorities that are getting the pushback.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
It's
so
in
the
everything.
noisy, whingy, they unfortunately create the narrative, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And we were talking about my little dating life earlier, and I don't care. I've been very transparent. I don't care at all. I'm happy to embarrass myself for the greater good. But I'm actually finding a lot of times when you're meeting, in my case, my life, when I'm meeting women, they're almost like trying to, like it's a test. So you go there and you're having a date, and it's almost like, if you can put up with this, then you make it to the next level of the game, right? That's kind of how it is. And they're all
Give
about
us an
red flags.
example.
Well, it just becomes 20 questions. If I hear the term red flag again, now I'm a motor racer, okay? I had a life in motor racing, so red flag is part of my vernacular in a very different context. I'm so sick and tired of hearing it. Is seriously, it becomes like if you're playing, I don't know, Donkey Kong, and you've got to get to, I'm showing my age, you go to the next level. What's happening with dating now is about getting to the next level, and it's almost like the woman is throwing those bloody barrels at you all the way to try.
That's how it feels, huh?
Yeah, it does. It's combative.
Okay.
But surely, and I think this comes down to age, because when you are a certain age, you know a lot more about what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
So true.
Right. So
clearer.
when I'm 19 and going out with Richard, it's not about, it's about totally different things than it is now, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but Aaron, don't you have your own red flags as well? So you're coming, the lady's coming with questions and stuff. So she's asking these questions. If you can make it to that, well, that's great, because I already know that that's not the type of person I want to be with, because I want that in my life, not that.
Sure.
Surely you have the same.
No. Now I come in.
Oh, no wonder you've had.
Okay.
Sorry.
So okay.
It's got no standards.
Oh yeah.
No,
Men are much simpler creatures.
We are much simpler creatures.
just feed the man, and you know what? And you're right.
Feed
apparently,
him and bed him.
yeah,
What did
feed him
Mona
and bed
say?
him.
You just have to show up.
No, I hate no. No one wants a starfish. No way in the world. But
So for older women out there, what advice do you give to women when they go on a date?
okay, be kind. Be kind. Because
Aren't
women
they kind?
No, they're not kind.
And what does that look like?
Combative.
Why? What did they say to you?
It is combative. It really is. It's and it's, as I say, it becomes a game of 20 questions. There's very much a list that.
What are some of the questions? I'm really curious.
I'm probably one of those.
Okay.
Lisa, I can imagine, would have a lot.
Every one of them is qualifying you, right?
Yeah.
So now we talk about,
Feeding us. We are
Feeding us.
simple.
We are simple men.
Thank you,
We are
David, for
simple
pointing
men,
that
or we
up
are
on the
simple,
screen.
or we are simple,
We
comma
are
men.
very-
Bless you. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at
Maybe
all.
we're just overcomplicating it.
Oh, guess what?
Women tend to.
You are.
do that.
You are. Okay. Do you know what? If I can find a girl that I am physically attracted to who is kind to me, I will give her the world. I will give her everything, right? And guess what? I don't care what she does for a living. I don't care where she lives. I don't care how much money she makes. I don't care if she's a cat or a dog person.
What about music preferences?
Well, let's get serious now.
That's a serious question, Aaron.
Look, yeah.
This has become Aaron's dating show.
No, but I do judge people. On the
I know, right? Because I do as well. Guys, it's like.
But I can get past it.
Oh, really? I don't care.
I don't care
You're
either.
right, there are qualifying points like, hey, do you get on easily if you're into the same music or the same whatever? That what you were talking about, things just flow easier, don't you? You have things in common. It's all you're really looking for is things in common.
I had a magnificent conversation with a girl last night. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I really did. It was fantastic. I enjoyed every minute of it. It flowed.
Was it verbal?
I'm not going to say. And
It was an SMS. It was an SMS that flowed.
Sure. Anyway,
There's more than that flowed, apparently.
no. But where I'm going is it was really nice. It flowed beautifully. We were into the same sort of things.
Yeah.
We had a lot of things in common, and it was easy. Right? Now, I've often, that I've had conversations with women where let's face it, you're going, okay, I'm trying to impress her. I'm trying to win points and all sorts of carry on. And when it's easy and you don't feel that you need to do that, that's when you
Absolutely. You shouldn't have to win points.
Communication.
That's
isn't it,
back to
rather
communication.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
Back to communication.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
So,
So how would you bring this into, because the topic was leadership and activism, and we've turned it into dating.
Well, that's why we've still got to have Martine on.
yes.
Definitely need Martine.
Martin can take it to the next
Yeah,
level.
the next level with Martine.
Some of these.
Tangent.
Oh, that's a nice response from Daniel.
Aaron Malloy, your truth is refreshing and relatable.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
well
Well, you
done,
did
Daniel.
say people wanted to.
So good, I'll bring it back up on the
And,
screen. There we
and then to add to that, girls, you're doing a great job getting out all the info that we need from Aaron.
Okay, before about what I was saying with the this all relates as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Okay, and we joke about the dating thing, and I've made some I make really bad choices when it comes to women. Right? I know my faults. I know exactly what I do wrong, and guess what? I'm counteracting that. And you talk about baggage. I am Heathrow Airport. Okay, I know it. I know what I bring to the party, but I also, because of that, and you're growing as a person, you know what to bring in and what to leave behind. Right?
Yeah.
And that's growth.
After all, we are only human, whether we are male or female, we are only human.
Yeah. So on the leadership role, okay, I want to bring up.
There's no perfection.
Yeah.
I would like to bring up the leadership role.
Yeah.
And
Okay?
just before you do, don't blame us if we go over time.
Promise. We are going to go over time today. There we go. After I just said it, now we're going to do it. Yeah, look, okay, on the leadership point of view, I think that there are strong men and women in this world, and when we go out into the world, it is our responsibility. We're sitting here on this couch, we have a responsibility, okay? And I don't take it lightly. I know that my voice goes to a hell of a lot of men. I know a lot of men listen to my opinions about these things, and I don't see this as a flippant thing, okay? So, yeah, I understand you don't throw out, and I've done this in the past, I've thrown out comments that, quite frankly, if you took out of context, come out very, very differently.
Right.
And sometimes I'm not very good at the context level of things.
Oh, me either.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, kind of screw up on that level. But yeah, so as a leader, and there's so many of us in that sort of space, it is our role to be responsible about it, to say the smart things. But in my opinion, it's important for us to hold people accountable. This is the big thing, because the lack of accountability right now is the biggest reason why cats and dogs are fighting. Okay, that's the reality. The men don't see women as accountable, because women are not being, in our world, accountable for their actions.
Do you think there's a particular age group, or are you saying all women?
No, not all women, but the greatest percentage of women, and certainly younger women, are being taught that they don't have to have any responsibilities for their actions.
Yeah, and that's just part of, I think, what we mentioned earlier on the agenda.
Yeah.
Because if you break down the barriers of no one has any morals, no personal ethics, and just take everything that you can get, you know, that's self-destruction for society.
Yeah.
And that's not really who we are deep down. So it's really being opinion leaders like yourself and you guys on your show, just getting this out to people, because we are the majority.
We
We do forget that sometimes.
And we sit here and we say these things. Now, you might hate my guts for what I've said, okay? But it's good. I'm actually happy about that, because have I started a debate or have I started a conversation? I hope I've started a
I
conversation.
don't think you've said anything that controversial. You just
No.
said be kind.
Oh, gee, I better step it up then.
You're a little bit over the top on that.
Wow.
On that note of leadership, I just want to read out this little statement. True leadership requires both. And yet for generations, leadership models, especially in activism, have been dominated by the masculine, with the push, strive, conquer and fix.
Not anymore, though.
No, it's completely done a flip,
Yep.
hasn't it? So
Yep.
so this is what it used to be. So interesting.
And why is that, Leanne?
Well,
Why is it flipped?
well, Aaron, I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he didn't answer that one, did he?
Oh, I got out there.
Because we don't have masculine men around
50
anymore.
years, 50
Back to the
years
agenda.
of
Back to
50
the
years of
agenda.
Oh, you're letting men
concentrated
off the
effort.
hook here.
Yeah,
of
it is a
concentrated effort. It
concentrated
really is.
effort.
So, okay, when you're as a male, before you're a man, as a boy, okay, who are all your role models? Well, okay, just about everybody comes from a single mum these days. So you've got mum at home, right? You go to daycare, it's all female. Okay, you go to school. Where are the male teachers? Oh, they can't be male teachers.
Have a look at all the estrogen producing foods. Sorry, just put that one in as well.
Don't. Oh my God.
Part
Please.
of the agenda. Yep.
Keep away from soy products. Please, 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 men. Don't touch soy products, and women for that matter.
Feed the
No.
man meat.
Don't need.
Pardon?
Feed the man
Damn
meat.
straight. Yep. And the girl
And
too.
potato.
Love a good bit of meat, don't we, Lisa?
Oh, you two love a bit of meat. Yeah, I heard.
Hey, there's a reason I don't date vegetarians. Just saying, right?
Look, we're nearly coming to the end of that, I
We
think.
are, we
And
are.
I think we will definitely be bringing Martine on for this, the next chapter of this.
That's a bigger conversation, isn't it?
It is a huge conversation.
Yeah.
It's not just about it's not just about masculine and feminine. It's about communication and where this leads us. How are we going to move forward and step forward as a society?
Yeah,
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah,
based.
absolutely.
I like your
Love it.
philosophy. Be kind and get along.
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
nice one.
Do you know
I thought you were
what?
about to say
know,
be kind and get a life, but anyway. That
through
too.
life, for so much ago, people have talked about the meaning of life. Meaning of life is love. All right,
Yes.
it's simple as that. It's
It
one
is.
freaking word, and it doesn't matter how you get it, just get it. And if you're kind to each other and you actually understand that we're different and you understand that we bring the best out of each other, if we've got the right intentions are always important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kindness
absolutely.
wins,
Yeah, I like
always.
that.
Hmm.
That's a nice little wrap up there.
Oh, maybe my ducks are in a row. Who knows?
I love your
All
duck.
right. Any last thoughts there, Lisa?
Oh, no, I don't have any last thoughts on this subject.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay.
You nailed it.
No, we did not. Oh, come on.
Maxine, we look forward to
I just
having
wanted
you
to
on.
thank Rachel for coming on.
Thank
Yes,
you for having me.
Rachel.
It's been great fun.
Thank you,
Great
Rachel.
conversation,
That's what I was
you
trying to
guys.
get you to do. But never mind. Look, I'll tell you right now, before we actually end, I will say this because this has been on the masculine versus the feminine and men versus women. There shouldn't be any verses.
No, there's no verses.
And I'm sitting here.
No
and
winners then.
I'm sitting here with three absolutely amazing women who I care so much about and who have enriched my life. You really have. Like, all of you have brought so much to my life, and I'd like to think I throw a bit back.
You do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
This is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right, and on that bombshell, let's
And
get out of
Aaron's
here.
taking us all out for dinner.
Am I?
Thanks. Where is hot date?
Damn the patriarchy!
Hot date for the night.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I'm taking out three girls. But anyway, too much information. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the replay. Of course, we replayed this show on Sunday. At what time, Leanne?
10
Look
a.m.
at you
Aaron.
go.
And
Fantastic.
thank you for joining us, Iddy.
Thanks,
Absolute pleasure. Edie in the background, who is a superstar as well. Thank you very much. This has been The One Thing on Edge Radio.
Ever felt lost online finding the right businesses?
Absolutely, like a needle in a haystack.
Introducing the Worldwide Awake Business Directory.
Tell me more.
It's your hub for businesses sharing your values. Discover eco-friendly products, socially responsible services, and more.
Count me in. I'll check it out straight away.
Find businesses aligned with your values on the Worldwide Awake Business Directory. Start making a difference with every purchase.